So we have a website built. We're doing really well. But you know what? All of that is a little bit worthless for a client if they're not on Google. Just because you release a website, Google does not sort you by the date of release, where there are filtering search options. But if you want to get onto page one, you got to do something known as SEO, search engine optimization. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about where you can put some of your keywords, and we're going to do it on the home page. Now, my tool of choice is RankMath. There are lots of other options out there, but I strongly recommend you give RankMath a go. It is a free SEO tool built for WordPress, and it is amazingly easy and brilliant to use. Go to your WordPress site, go to add plugins, and then go and do a search for RankMath. You can't miss it. Install it and activate. It has a really simple wizard, and all you got to do is connect your account. It's great that you can connect in so many ways, whereby you might have an email or password, or you could register, or maybe you've already logged in or connected before. So go and click one of these and it will go straight through. Again, the wizard will take you through. Now, you might be tempted to go and hit the easy option. Don't do that. Just go through the advanced, because all the steps they give you here are very crucial. You will get asked some questions. It's a little bit similar to what you would have done for WooCommerce and other platforms as well. So just go through and answer these as best as possible. It's not a bad idea also to make sure you have an alternate version of your logo for social sharing. I've got a square version over here and I'm going to add that in. I mean, look, if you have only got a horizontal, it does allow that. You know, do look at the sizes it recommends. But I've got a 500 by 500 WebP image, which, you know, on social media postings, that can work really well for us. Now, it doesn't matter if you're in a Chrome browser, Edge, or anything like that. Just go and connect to Google services. Basically, you're just going to use your Gmail account. You can see why you need to do that. It's for the Google Search Console. Now, we have to submit our website, submit the sitemap. We then have to initiate a crawl and indexing. Now, you might sort of go, what? Why do I need to do all of that? When a website is released, if you want to get found on Google, you got to be crawled and searched and indexed, okay? And if you don't go through these steps and you've had a website built and you've never done this, or your designer or developer has never instructed you, then you might think your website is out there on the search rankings, and by chance you might end up there, but you really want to do it properly. And one word of warning, if you are doing this for a client, and it's obviously going to be maybe connected via their Gmail so that they can go and look at their search console or analytics, you're going to need access to their Gmail account. So they might have to go to their Gmail and they might have to give you permission or authority or shared access just to do this. Once you've done that, you'll be taken over to this screen, and 9 times out of 10, it will automatically stick the URL in here. If it doesn't, because you have an account with shared access to other websites, just click the drop down and go and find the relevant URL. Make sure you pick the right one. Now, the very first time you do this, you may notice that this is grey and you might not think anything of it. You might think it's just a bullet. That needs to be green, and the same with the analytics as well. So even though we're doing this process, we are going to come back to go through the proper verification, and I'm going to show you the Google Search Console screen as well, and what we need to do to make sure we're fully connected. The next screen is about your sitemap. This is what is submitted to Google, which allows it to scan and understand the makeup of your website. You know, what are your navigation menus? What are your pages? Do you have any products? If you are not selling any products, you might want to untick this. If you don't have any landing pages, you might want to untick that. I'm actually going to leave everything on for now. I'm also going to leave the categories and the product category because I have a WooCommerce shop here. If you did not have a shop, you might want to just untick those like that. When it comes to including images, if your images do not have relevant titles and alt titles, you don't want to go for this. Make sure you have gone through your website, and I mentioned this in a previous video. Go and put in descriptive titles. That's great from a web accessibility point of view. Make sure you do that. Otherwise, this could go against you. So don't just have an image whereby the title is 001XYZZCXXX. That means nothing. make sure you give a reasonable title and an alt title. I'm going to leave this as it is. I mean, I strongly recommend that you don't index empty categories like that. If you start to index empty categories, so stuff like uncategorized, or maybe you created a category for wheelbarrows, but you haven't got a single product or a post or anything for wheelbarrows, why would you want that to then be visible as an option for someone to click on Google, they go through to it and there's no wheelbarrows and it says, sorry, there's nothing here. You've just put people off coming to your website again. And that's basically it. Now you can set up advanced options, which we will go into once we now are looking at the website and we've worked a little bit more on the homepage. So what I'm going to do is hit return to dashboard and we're back in WordPress and you can now see there's loads of options. Now, please do not worry about a lot of these options. It's actually really, really easy and simple to go through. Now, before we jump into them, there are options down here as well. So I'm just going to very quickly go through each of them one by one and it's not going to take long. Please do not be scared. Let's click on the dashboard. We can see here that we can now monitor whenever we have a 404. Now, I've set up a 404 page, but maybe you want to know when a URL occurs. Sorry, let me explain that better. Maybe someone hits an incorrect URL and it sends them to a 404. It might be an old post. It might be a link that you put out on social media, which is no longer valid. You want to know about that so you can redirect people to the correct page. The analytics is enabled, but we have already mentioned the fact that it's not fully verified yet, so leave that ticked. I'm not going to do anything here. The content AI, and I'll show you how you can use that, is a good thing to keep ticked. If you want to get some further help with your keywords. We're going to click Image SEO and we will visit that setting. Instant indexing, link counter, local SEO, very important. If you're trying to get a foothold in your local area or community, I'm not worried about the sitemap or the podcast. Bear in mind, these are the pro versions. Like if I was to go and click this, just to let you know though what the RankMath Pro costs are, if you want to get it just for like a single site, it's $59 a year. You can obviously expand and you get some more features enabled for you here, like more credits, tracking of keywords as well. Let's just close that down. Redirections, this is a good thing to do. This goes hand in hand with the 404 now. So if I had an incorrect homepage, I can use this inbuilt feature to now redirect them to the correct page. I'm the only person looking after this website, so I'm going to leave that off. SEO Analyzer, we'll leave that on. Sitemap, obviously. The video one, this is a nice, neat little feature, but it's not a deal breaker if I'm honest. Google Web Stories, I don't need that. And obviously we have WooCommerce as well. So that was all pretty quick and simple. Now, one thing I did not mention though, and I will tell you now, is that you can import and export your settings. So whatever you do here, once you've done it, you could export all of this, okay? And then, so you might have one for a standard website, a blog website, a WooCommerce website like what we got here. You can then export all of these settings, stick them somewhere. The next time you load up a new WordPress website, you can then install RankMath, right? Skip the wizard if you want, jump over here, click import, and it's basically going to import all of these settings. So everything I'm telling you now, you do it once, you do it well, you keep it secret, you keep it safe, and then you import it in, and away you go. Right, let's just go back over to our dashboard, which we've already identified is fine. Now I'm going to start going through the settings. The first thing I'm going to do, well, I could go to analytics, which is this one here. This is much more useful when you have the pro version, okay? If you really want to get a lot more details about what's happening on your website, I'm not going to lie. You could use Google Sitekit, which is a plugin. You could use Google Analytics, which I'm going to show you and go and review there. Your host server provider might give you some details as well. And once you've installed all of this, if you go over to dashboard now, over here, you will have this visible on your screen as well. This has 000 because it's a brand new website and we haven't done the proper verification submission of the sitemaps to Search Console or Analytics yet. But over time, and it can take about a week before values start to filter through, this kind of gives you a lot of info as well. Now let's go to general settings, and this is the one that can scare you a bit. But watch how quick I go through this. So for my links, I'm not going to change anything. For my breadcrumbs, I won't. For my images, do I want it to add a missing out attribute and a missing title? There is a danger to this because you could say do this and then it's just going to add in the file name. Actually, okay, let me rephrase that. If all of your images were, let's say here, the Maldives, for instance, let's just say, you could do something like file name at Maldives. Now, this is a really bad example because it already has the word at Maldives in the title. But can you see here? Let's say you had photographs of food, burger, drink, kebab, whatever, right? Now you want to add in an extra little bit of wording, kebab cooked by Imran, chef at the restaurant, whatever. So if you want to do that, you can do. I personally prefer to go through systematically and start adding in my titles, especially when I'm working on each page. But if you want to get it done really, really quickly, you can go and use this. I'm going to leave this as it is. The Webmaster Tools links in a little bit to the analytics down here, and I'm going to come back onto this one later on, okay? I'm going to leave the robots.txt as it is. I'm going to leave the others as it is as well. I'm going to leave the blocks as it is. However, if I was using the table of contents on my blog posts or anywhere like that, I might say that, right, all of my titles on my blog posts are a header 3, and that's already being pulled through into the table of contents. So maybe I want to exclude all of these. Now, I'm just going to leave them as they are because it doesn't really bother me. But just to let you know, you might want to have a think about that. I don't have any brand. So if I did have a particular field, like a custom field or an attribute that I had built, it's most likely going to be an attribute, to be honest. Like it would say product brand, then I would go and pick it. I don't have the brand here, so I'm not going to pick that. I'm going to leave this as it is. I'm not going to touch this. This is the 404 monitor that we went and enabled. I'm going to leave that as it is. The redirection, I'm again going to leave it as it is. I mean, look, sorry, I should mention this. The fallback behavior is a pretty neat feature. And I would say that maybe every time someone comes to a page where there's a 404 or there's an issue or somewhere, I might say just redirect them to the home page. But then again, some people might go, well, hang on, I clicked here. Why have I gone to the home page? So because I spent time creating a 404, I'm telling you this page does not longer exist. Now click the button to go to the home page or take me home. Now let's go back in and revisit the Webmaster Tools and the analytics. We'll go to the analytics first. Refresh the page and it goes green. So if you ever find that you've gone and hit reconnect or you haven't, and it's not green, just refresh the page or refresh the website. But we still can't do the analytics, okay? Because we haven't kind of built it up yet. And it isn't difficult. Seriously, go over to Google and do a search for Google Search Console. Go over to the link and go and click start now. Now, if you've already logged in via your Gmail account, it should go through okay. If not, you've just got to put in your login and your password, verify, and you'll be through. If this is the first time you're using this, your website will already be here. If you have other websites on here, just click the drop down and then go and select it. And if you're wondering how was your website on here in the first place, don't forget down here, you kind of did this bit. So it's kind of already taking you halfway there. Bear in mind, though, you're going to have no results. We've just done this. We are doing this right now as you watch, okay? So, of course, we're not going to have results. And it does say here it can take a day or two. It can sometimes take up to a week. So don't come back tomorrow or the day after that and go, hey, where's my results? Give it 6 or 7 days. So let's initiate the verification process. Even though it has found it, you need to go here and click Add Property. You then need to paste in your property into the URL prefix. Make sure it's got the HTTPS, okay? Don't do it without that. Put in your full URL and then hit continue. And you should get this message which says ownership auto verified. Now, if you don't get this, you might be given some steps whereby you've got to go and stick in a bit of code into your website, into the header of your website, or even down to your host provider. Your host provider can advise you on this, but what you also get if I go here, back to WordPress, if you click the Search Console verification page, there is a page that over here that pops up. But again, takes you through some steps. Now, this might look scary, but it's not. You just got to go through methodically and get some little bit of script added. But I luckily don't have to do that. Now, if you didn't get auto-verified, you will get given a little bit of code like this. What you want to do is copy that entire code, go back over to your website and drop it in here. And then just hit save. And that then just basically means we are now verified. Now, in a way, I didn't really have to do that because mine automatically went through. But if you ever have an issue with that, go and do that, okay? You'll get given a bit of code and then you drop it in. So back in Google Search Console, there's still a bit we need to do. Like we need to sort out our sitemap. It's already been submitted, but we need to do it for our products and our blogs as well. So we're going to come back onto that later on. Leave it open in a browser. We are going to revisit it very soon. What we need to do is sort out our Google Analytics. I'll put a link in the video description, but just do a search for Google Analytics. There's the link, go and click it. So in the bottom left, you'll see a cog. One thing I will say about Google Analytics, it's not very clear. And you're like going, well, how do I add? Where's the plus sign? It's down here. Go and click admin, and then you want to click create account. I'm going to call this one website tutorial, because this is a tutorial we're doing. I'm going to tick all of these items. I'm going to click next. I'm going to give it a name over here. Again, I'm just going to call it website tutorial. You can set your time, your currency. This is if you were going to start going in for other services or like adverts and stuff. But, don't worry about the fact it says British pound there. If you click the advanced option, it's going to say, do you want to create a universal analytic property? Now, depending on when you're watching this is going out of fashion in July. So leave it unticked. Now, if you have done this in the past, and you've only ever done a UA property, you need to do what I'm showing you now for GA4. So please bear that in mind. Let's go and hit next. You then click create. You're going to say that make sure you read everything it says here. Don't just tick it like I am. And you'll now see that the account has been created and the property as well. If you click on setup assistant over here, it does say collect website and app data. This is quite important. It does mention you've got to add in a Google tag. Where it says not started, click the chevron there and manage data streams. Then go and pick your app or what you're doing. Obviously, we have a website, so I'm going to go with web. I'm then going to stick my URL in here. I'm going to call it website tutorial again. And I'm just going to click create stream. Again, this is something people sometimes kind of overlook. They've gone and created their property. And by the way, what you're seeing right now is what would actually happen. The minute you do that, it kind of then starts to go do it like that. Just let it happen. They think they've gone and done this, and then they move on. You've followed the steps I'm giving you, and I really wish Google would make it like 1,000,000 times easier. But if you follow what I'm doing, you'll be okay. Now, if you want to use one of these plugins here to add in your Google tag, basically to make sure everything works okay, Monster Site Kit you can do, or you can go for install manually, and this little bit of code here you can pick up and drop into the header or the footer of your theme. I'm going to put a link to a video in the description which tells you exactly what code you put in and where you put it. But instead, I just come back over to RankMath, I refresh the website, and now my account is there. Before, if I'd hit the drop down, it wouldn't have been visible. Go through the steps, okay? You create your account, you create your property, you then go and create your stream. If you ever want to come back and get this information, you haven't lost it, okay? You come back into Google Analytics, you go over to Setup Assistant, you go to data collection, you click the arrow here, manage data streams, you then click this, and it will then go and give you the code, the view tag instructions and the code there. Now you will see there's a warning here. Don't worry, this is a brand new website, so nothing's going to really, it takes a bit of time for things to start filtering through, so don't worry about that. Back onto here, I know it feels like a bit back and forth, right? But that's just because I'm showing it to you. You've now selected your account, you then go and select your property, remember, we created it, and over here, eventually it will bring through the data stream. If any one of these is blank, it ain't going to work for you, okay? So just bear that in mind. And now we can scroll down and, do you still want to have your email reports or anything like that? I'm okay with that. It is every 30 days. If you want to have it every day, every 7 days, you're going to have to go with the pro version. If your clients are really hot on analytics, they could either just go over here and start to see the info when it starts to feed through for the statistics, or you could get it fed to you over here. So it all depends on you and your client's needs. That might have felt a little bit complicated, but the RankMath bit isn't and wasn't. It was the Google Search Console and making sure that's okay, and the Google Analytics. But we're not done with the Search Console. We've got to come back to it and resubmit a bit more and start an inspection and a crawl of the website. But don't do that until you have now gone and maxed out your keywords. So if we now go over to pages, in fact, you can go to posts as well. You'll now see down here, it says SEO details. And it says non-applicable, keyword, not set, schema, article. Let's now go and start addressing this. Now, I'm only going to do this for the home page due to time. But what I'm going to show you is the same kind of logic you would go through for every page. Well, not every page. Let me change that. Only do it on the pages you really want to rank high. So am I going to want to do it for the 404 page? Probably, well, I got a template for that. Probably not. Am I going to do it for the accessibility statement? Maybe. The about page? Maybe. The contact? Maybe. But really, I want to be maxing out the courses page, the home page, the shop page, the socials page. So anything that you really want to be ranking high on Google. Let's go over to our homepage. And by the way, we are going to be revisiting the URL for this as well. It's one of my little tricks I'm going to show you. And one of the things I really like about RankMath is now we have an SEO tab over here. It's integrated into Elementor. Okay, I know RankMath actually works with other tools as well. So if we now hit SEO, I have a score of 16 out of 100. That does not surprise me because we have not identified the keyword here. And we haven't ensured the keywords are in certain locations. Look, if I scroll down here, it's not on our meta title. Well, it says the word our hike. We have the word hiking there, but I haven't said hiking is our keyword yet. It's not in the SEO title. If I could start to go through all of these things, H1, H2, URL, there's loads of places we need to improve on. So let's first go and sort out what our keyword should be. We could, if we want, just go and stick in our words. So I could go and stick in hiking like that. And if I just go, you don't have to pick it, just type it. The score jumps up to 29 out of 100. Because now, look at this. The word hiking is visible in some of them, but we're going to make it a little bit richer and better. Or I could hit Content AI. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to type in hiking equipment like that. And I want to see what do we get. So let's hit the research option. It's now giving me a range of options and things I could take into account. So in terms of content, I might want to look at some of these wordings. You don't have to use them. Just because it says you haven't used this, well, if I'm not going to put best hiking gear for women on my website, so what? You don't have to do that. If I go and look at headings, it's now, they're not the greatest, okay? Sometimes they are a little bit like, is that really good? For SEO title, it says, hey, that's not a bad title to use. The best hiking gear. I quite like that one, so I've copied it. I'm going to come back to that. I've literally clicked it and I've copied it. I do like that. What about SEO description? Best hiking gear, which is similar to their title, which I will use. Okay, let's just put it back onto content. Scroll down and it's giving me some ideas for keywords I might want to think of. Hiking clothes. Well, we're not selling clothes, but it's an idea for maybe future stuff you want to put on your website. What about questions? This is really useful. And you might have found this out by going through Google and looking at what are people searching for and stuff like that. But there's going to be people that are probably looking for what equipment would you need for hiking? Have I got that anywhere on my website? No, I haven't. So I could copy that, maybe down here somewhere, stick it in. Or maybe one of my posts over here, I need to create a post with that specific title. Because if it's being searched for, you're going to be pushing your post higher up the ranking tree. Look, come on. There's probably a million other people out there that have gone and used that exact term or phrasing. But have they boosted up their SEO? Have they tried to do as much maximization as possible? I'm going to go back to my SEO tab, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start putting in some words. Now I've gone and entered a few in, and you'll notice the very first one is a darker shade there because that's our main keyword, okay? But look, if I start to type in hiking near me, you're going to see loads of locations come up. So if your website is like window cleaning in a specific area, so it might be London or a part of London or the East Midlands or a state in America or something like that, you can go and start to make it a little bit specific. I'm just actually going to keep this really simple and just go for hiking trails near me and hiking bags. Now there's a box here that says this post is pillar content, basically evergreen. So if you imagine you've created a post over here, which is about a hiking trail, which is only open now, and then next month it closes forever, it will never be open again, that is not a pillar content. It was only relevant for that point in time. Whereas a lot of my pages, like the courses, the home page, the shop page, they are pillar content. They are like evergreen. They're never going to be outdated, if that makes sense. Now, already our score has actually gone up from 16 to 35, or was it 19? I can't remember what it was now. I think it was 16. It's gone up to 35. That's not bad. I want to get it higher. I want to make it green as much as possible. I'm going to click Edit Snippet. And at the moment, it says home, our hike. I really don't. Is that what you want? So when someone searches and they find you, is that what you want to have visible on your website, like your search result? How boring and pathetic is that? Why don't we go and use that word I pasted over, the best hiking gear? And you might not have noticed this, but as soon as I've done that, we're gone from 35 or 36, my memory's going, to 81. We're in the green, right? I mean, what have I done? I've just added in 5 keywords. One of them was hiking, and kaboom, we've just shot up. And I've added in a bit more word for my title. Crush thousands of miles with ease. Simple, easy, whatever word you want to put. Your title does not have to just be your shop name. Biggest mistake people make. They just put their name. Oh, this is all I do. No, be expansive. We're not just going to put the word web squadron. I've gone and changed my description. Discover the best hiking gear equipment, trails and hiking courses for your next adventure. Shop for epic hiking bags, gear, and hit the trails with confidence. I quite like that. That's quite nice, right? I've stitched a word in here and it's gone and made that yellow. So the more you tease words in, the stronger you can make your keywords. And nearly everything here is already gone into green. Our content readability, it says that we've got our focus keywords in everywhere in there. It's in our meta description. That's all really, really good. It says the focus keyword is at the start of our SEO title. Notice here, hiking, the best hiking gear. It's right at the start there. We are getting 2 errors over here with additional. So it says add an image with your focus keyword as an alternative text. And it says the keyword density, it says it's high and it appears 9 times. Now, I kind of ignore that. I'm not going to hit 100% now because of that, because I've got the word hiking cropping up a lot. But I'm not bothered by that because I'm actually, that's what I want. I want the word hiking to be reinforced. So we are told add an image with your focus keyword as an alternative text. Now, sometimes where you get this one here, you might go, well, I'll just go into one of my images. Let me just show you over here. Let's just pick this one, click it. It is a container with a background image. I click into it, and if you look here with the alt text, it's already got the word hiking in here. So I've already got the word in that says, female sat ahead of forest dressed in her hiking gear. We've got that there. You can see it above me. So why is this now pulling up and not why does it say that the word is not visible there? Sometimes, because it's sat within a container, your SEO tool might not fully pick it up. What do you do about that? What you got to do is just make sure you've got an image somewhere on your page. So I'm going to go over to this image, which is our logo, click it, and now I'm going to go in and add in our text. This currently has a really weird title with Our Hike 300 by 120 because that's the size of it. So let's just change this. So Our Hike logo for the best hiking gear website in the world. Let's just go and hit select on that so it's then inserts it in. You do need to hit update sometimes. Don't just go, well, I've done it, that's it. Go and hit update and refresh the page. The score's gone up to 84 out of 100 and we can now see that keyword is in an image. My score is still 84, but can you see hiking equipment has now gone to a gold color? The reason being is I've duplicated my big hero banner header here. This one is a H1. This one I've now converted to be a H3, and it contains the word hiking equipment. Let me just go and put in the word, what was the other words we had? Hiking courses. And after refreshing, you'll now notice that's also gone to gold. And that's because even though the word hiking courses and equipment and etc. is mentioned, and it is mentioned in my text as well in places, it's not a header. So if you were to now get the word hiking equipment to also be present within your content of your body, it's going to reinforce and make things so much richer. Go over to any one of these, go here, is hiking right for me? I'm going to turn that into a header too. You'll notice the size and styling of it has now completely gone a bit like a little bit weird, and I don't want it to be that size. The problem you've slightly got, though, is that we've already gone and set our size to be 1.2. But the minute I made that be a H2 that you can see here, heading 2, the size has completely changed. Now, if you're working with Elementor, and remember, if I go to my site settings, I did not set my H2s anywhere. I've left them to be how I want to be. But what I could do is go over here to my H2 now, and you'll notice there the size has now changed, and I can also change the weighting as well if I want, go with something like that. So what I'm doing is dropping in extra wording, and if you feel like you got too many H2 tags, you can convert some of these to be a H3 as well. So I've improved some of them, but don't go crazy. You'll notice hiking equipment is still like in the red. It is a keyword. It can be strengthened, but don't overdo it unless it starts to fit naturally into what you're doing on your page. And I've now dropped in hiking equipment over here, and I've actually even dropped it in our footer, hiking equipment and hiking courses. So everything is in yellow. The score still has not gone up, all right, massively. That is going to be down to some of the keywords you choose. So if that keyword there was more nicheified or more expressive, that could do even better for us. Now we do still have one little warning over here, which is basically saying I've used a keyword a lot. To go back to our page, you'll now see this is 84 out of 100. I would love to get to 100. I always like to strive for that when I'm working on websites with much more richer content. And what you want to do is kind of now start working through. So go for your shop page and start getting in keywords. It's a little bit harder on the shop page because we don't really have much content. I know we have a shop, we only have a header. But do have a think about your courses page. How can you kind of get that to get into the green? Products, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's not undoable or not doable. You can do it. So what you want to do is you want to go into each of your products, and let's just go into the Roma one here. You want to scroll down until you get to RankMath SEO. And what you want to do now is change this, because for every single one of your products, this is what is coming up and this is what it says. Do you really want it to say Roma Our Hike? What you really want to be doing is go and identify what your keywords are. Don't go and stick in Roma, right? Unless Roma is a name that is so recognized that people are going to search for the product based on the name. iPad, iPhone. You get the idea? So what you really want to be going for is like rugged backpack or backpack, hiking backpack, hiking rucksack, maybe climbing bag, bag, rucksack, whatever you want to go for. So start doing words like that. Then go to your snippet. Make sure you get that in over here. Multi-pocket, something like that. Okay, try and put in words. Of course, do it down here. I mean, I'm just going to, for now, just stick this up here. Just stick it in here, just so we've got something. And the score is now 50 out of 100. It's still rubbish. It's not great. And there's so much more you could do here. There are some things you can't fully do, though, like the focus keyword is not found in the URL. So you got to be very careful about what you do and don't do. Don't break the breadcrumbs or the links or the URLs or the slugs to your website, but you can start to stick things in here. So like here, add an image with your focus keyword. Okay, fine, let's go in. So let's go with that. Roma multi-pocket, and I'll go bag red image like that. Let's go and set that image in. Now it's gone up by only 1, but at least we've got a tick there. You're doing more just to help yourself out. Now, you are not going to get everything done here for posts and products, okay? The same principle applies, but you got to do the best you can. And that all takes time, but it's all about how much effort do you want to put in and what do you want to get out of it. If you just load up RankMath and then do your Google search console and all of that and then just submit the sitemaps, it could work for you if you know people are going to come rushing over to you. But if you're competing in a big, audience, competition galore everywhere, then you really need to think about maxing out your products and your posts, because we haven't even touched a post yet. Let's just go into this healthy lifestyle one, edit it, and over here on the right hand side, you will see a score of, 12 out of 100. And you can now see here, we don't have a keyword. We haven't even done our snippets over here. What about all the items down here? Start looking through and working through methodically. Like this image hasn't got the keyword in. What about here? Is this a header 2, a header 1, a header 3? Maybe we need to put in some questions. What is a healthy lifestyle? If your keyword was healthy lifestyle, turn it into a question later on. How can the top 10 ways to get a healthy lifestyle? The 5 sins of a healthy lifestyle. Start thinking about what's going to attract attention and draw people in. Now, there is one little neat thing you can also do. The keyword for this is hiking. But if I go over here, my slug says home. I'm going to do something quite funky here. I'm going to change the title of this to be hiking. I'm going to call it hiking home, maybe even. I'm then going to change the slug to be hiking. And I'm going to hit update. Now, if any of you are eagle-eyed, you're going to go, yeah, but if I now go and view my site, look, it says hiking home. I don't want the word hiking home there. Do not worry. What you do is you go over to appearance and go to menus, go to where it says hiking home, click the arrow and change the word navigation menu to now say home. Like that. That will now say home. But the slug for that page now contains my keyword. Look, if I scroll down here, there it is. Look at the slug. Look at the slug. So if your slug or your keyword was hiking equipment or window cleaning in New York, right? You could put that in here. Window-cleaning-new-York. Okay? You could even have it as a title. But on the website menu, it might say New York or whatever you want to put. That is a neat little tip that you really should consider if you want to help boost your SEO as well. Another thing you need to do, for every single page and post, you need to now resubmit or re-index it. And you'll notice the word instant indexing is now present for every page ever since we installed RankMath. If we go to this post where I've got healthy lifestyle and I've just popped that in as the keyword, you'll see here it says instant indexing. You can do this one by one. So every time you do a post and page, you just do it one by one. Or what I could have done is gone and hit copy link so I get the link for the URL, or hit view and you'll get the URL. Go to RankMath and where it says instant indexing. And down here, you will now see where you've kind of had some pages that have been submitted. So you can see I've actually already done it. So not a good idea to do it in straight succession. In fact, I'll show you what would have happened. If I go here and type this now, and I hit submit URL, it might fail. Oh no, it's passed. It then says it submitted it. So if I had 5 posts, I could stick them all in like that. And then you might have a different title for each of them. Let's just pretend they were like that. These two are not going to work because there is no URL for that. And then what you're doing is you're resubmitting them. Because over here, we haven't even started the indexing. Okay, but I just want to let you know that after you've done the Google Search Console bit, every time you change a post, a page, or anything like that, go and resubmit it, all right? Because you want within 24 to 48 hours the latest version to be attracting Google's attention, okay? If I go here, we already have sitemap index XML, which is basically this one here. You have it for post pages, products, categories, and product categories as well. I'm not going to do it for all of them, but only the ones that are relevant. Firstly, let's go and submit our website URL. You've got to get your head around this, okay? You've done your connection. So why am I saying inspect the website? It's connected. You've got to get it inspected. Pop it in here. And then it says retrieving data from Google Index. Let it do that. And it's now going to say the URL is not on Google. Hold up. Shut the front door. We've done the Search Console. We've done the Google Analytics. You made me watch you do that. And now you're telling me we're not on Google. Yeah, I know. Because look, we have not requested indexing. So now go and hit that. And as long as your website is verified, remember the Google verification and all of that, you should be okay. This can take a minute or two. Sometimes it's 30 seconds. It's been added to the priority queue. Don't keep resubmitting it. It's not a good idea. And now basically, I mean, look, if this has not crawled within 48 hours, go in and maybe do a request again. But normally within 48 hours, it will have gone in. Now I'm going to go over to Sitemap. It already has the standard one. So I'm now going to go in and go, yep, I want the post. So I'm going to copy that, paste it in, but bear in mind, you don't need all of it. You just need the bits like that. I'm going to do it for, I mean, yeah, we want, well, do you want all your pages? Do you want all of your pages? I would probably say not always a good idea, depending on what your pages are. Let's go for products. Let's pick that up. That's been submitted. Let's just do the product category as well. They have all been submitted. So now when I make changes on the website and I do the instant indexing again, it's all okay. And eventually this is going to start bringing through values in about 3, 4, 5, 6 days. Now you will notice I already have 2 pages or 2 logs for my 404. If I go to RankMath and hover over 404, I'm going to go in and look at it. And it's telling me that there's a post over here somewhere that is for some reason redirecting. Now that is just a bit of coding. It's a CSS code. I'm not sure why that's coming through. So I'm just going to click redirect. And I'm just going to say redirect to our main homepage, permanent move, add redirection. And that now fits in the redirection box. Sometimes you are going to get 404s like, look, it says 4 hits for here. I know that is okay. I know if I go on a private window, that's totally fine. I'm going to totally ignore that one, okay? So you don't have to go, oh my God, what do I do there? That was RankMath and how you can try and tease in some of your keywords into the content of your website and also into your URL as well.